able to talk to you from the Devonshire unit, which is a small neuro rehab unit providing specialist care for patients who have had spinal injuries or some kind of chronic neurological illness. And this is provided quite close to Stepping Hill, but in a bespoke small unit, providing very much multidisciplinary care using a mixture of therapies, where people really are able to almost treat this as their home and get the very best of care to be able to ensure that the outcomes are maximised. In July, we had an unannounced visit by the Care Quality Commission, which went over a 2-day period, largely involving a Monday night and the Accident and Emergency Department and wards within the hospital, where patients from the Accident and Emergency Department were being admitted. I am delighted to be able to tell you that the report is excellent. It provides full assurance that we are entirely compliant on the 5 standards that they looked at, and they use words such as exemplary, such as kind and compassionate care. And I think that's so important given our continuing challenges in accident and emergency, where we're fighting to ensure that at least 95% of our patients receive the care they need within the 4-hour standard. This shows that the quality of that care is still very high. Those of you who are local to Stockport may well have seen in the Stockport Express a recent article on the front page which showed that we unfortunately are still having a number of patients coming to accident and emergency for what are really very trivial conditions. The examples they give, which are very real examples for us, are a patient who had broken the nail of their false nails and another who had bad dandruff. Again, what we want to give the message for is that wherever possible, patients should have care in the right place. And that might be in a pharmacy, it might be in their GPs. That will then allow us to treat those patients who can only be cared for in an accident and emergency department as quickly, efficiently, with high quality of care as we possibly can. I am, however, convinced that with the improvements we've made in transforming unscheduled care, together with the paperless system, which I've talked about before in accident and emergency, which is very much clinically focused, it will only be a matter of time before we recruit those highly specialist consultants we're looking for. Patient feedback continues to be of great importance to us, and the friends and family test is still going well, with the vast majority of patients saying that they would recommend our care to their friends and family. The response rate, whilst still disappointing, is improving. I think it's a difficult area because accident and emergency, as well as the inpatient wards, are involved. And very often, if you come in for some kind of accident or emergency, you're not very much wanting to fill in a form to say whether or not you would recommend us. Given the numbers that come through, I'm assuming that's what they would say, but we can't do that without proper evidence. So we're asking our staff to work with patients to ensure we get a better response rate, to understand the issues that patients might have. Don Berwick has recently produced a report that is very much taking forward the Francis report into the problems at Mid-Staffordshire. The Trust is going to use this report, along with the Francis report, to understand those areas where we need to continue to improve. I would actually welcome everybody to read the Berwick report, which is concise and gives clarity on who should be doing what in terms of taking actions forward. And we will be taking this to our board meetings and working with staff to make those areas of improvement. We've recently produced a short clip on our strategic priorities as an organisation, and I commend this to you as a very quick read that shows the things that we find important going forward. It includes our continuing partnership working with the commissioners, with other trusts, with our governors and with our clinicians, managers and staff within the organisation. It very much talks continually about care in the right place, and so much of this looks to more care in the community. and I commend this brochure to you, details of which are provided as part of this podcast. I'm sure you will be aware that we've got a very large orthopaedic department at Stepping Hill Hospital, and they're involved in many research projects. A recent one that we're working on is for patients and carers of people who have either had or are considering a hip or knee operation. This research will allow us to understand what the issues are regarding choice of whether you go ahead with surgery. And we're putting the details on how to complete this survey as part of the podcast. And finally, I'm delighted to be able to announce that we've been shortlisted for a prestigious Health Service Journal Award. And this is for the mortuary team who have developed an innovative service. This has been done in partnership with the Council, with the Coroner's Office and Tameside Hospital, and allows post-mortems to be done in an even more timely fashion.